The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
This is the Eagles Sports Network. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman wide receivers coach Bret Story. And Bret, as we continue our position previews, we come to a group that, good Lord, the talent in the wide receiver room, absolutely stacked, and probably the name that is on every Carson-Newman fan's mind and possibly some opposing coaches' minds, Braxton Westfield. Took the spring off, opted out because of COVID, but he returns after a record-shattering season, at least within the confines of Carson-Newman's Veer offense in 2019. What makes him so good and what makes him capable of playing at the next level?
He's a big body. He catches the ball well, runs well. He's a very physical kid.
He's far from the only wide receiver that you have at your disposal, and probably one of the questions that you, Brock Pursley, and Mike Clowney have to offer is how do you get enough production out of so much talent? So many options. Literally, we had to make a list to make sure that we didn't miss anybody. And that's uncommon. How do you disperse against a group where, you've got guys who would be starters and all-conference players on other teams?
It's a plus. It's one of the things I tell them, next man up. I mean, I've got 2 deep for sure, 3 deep, 4 deep most positions right now that if the first guy's having a bad day or not doing well, then we got another guy that can step up.
You look at the exterior, and yes, Braxton Westfield is a guy who has drawn the attention of NFL scouts. But 3 other massive bodies who have shown capability at this level or the FCS level. Romaine Kelly, J.J. Lewis at Carson-Newman, Garel Sumer did it at Austin P after transferring in. All 6'3" or taller, all 200 pounds or heavier. What does their collective presence give you on the outside?
Well, it's going to help us because, they're going to have to double guys up, and they're not going to be able to pack the box. That's one good thing about having these big bodies because they all can play. They all got their own knickknacks. They do well.
What's the difference between a Braxton, a JJ, a Romaine, a Garel?
Probably just overall size. He's a little heavier, and just the presence of him out there and what he's done. I think is one of the big reasons because everybody's going to key on him, but that's just going to open up other side.
I think it states just the talent that is at the position that Corey Waters, also there, did some things in 2019. Ty Hellam's a freshman who came in 2020. Those guys will look to push that group of 4. What do a Waters and a Hellam's add to the fray?
Competitiveness. Being competitive. That's the biggest thing about the group is they're all competitive. So they know that there's always somebody on their heels. So that keeps them driving and being competitive in practice.
For the first time in the history of doing these things, we probably should have done 2 position previews for the wide receivers. Enough content to talk about the outside guys in and of themselves. No slouch on the inside wide receivers either, and certainly speed to burn. Houdini, Daquan Dudley, and then the fastest man in college football, Devon Moore. Break down just how quick those 2 guys are.
It's hard to explain. I didn't believe it till I saw them opening up in practice. It's kind of funny because they can go 75% and beat most people on the field. But when they actually kick it into second gear, there's a big difference. Last semester you saw Dudley when he caught the wheel route up the sideline. How fast he really was because he was leaving people.
And the same true for Devon. Granted, he chose track over football in the spring and, only won 4 All-America honors on the track. But how do you weaponize that speed?
There's different ways. Coach Percy's done a good job with it. Of course, when you got that much speed, you try to get him the ball. And so we've done different things is put him in some option looks, pitch stuff, and just trying to find the easiest, best path to get them the ball to get up the field.
Luke Simpson did some impressive things. In fact, the highlight from the first day in pads was a Luke Simpson highlight from the Carson-Newman social media accounts. And then Mendez Jean Baptiste is competing there as a transfer who does have 4 years left. How do those guys push a Dudley and a Moore?
They're very intelligent kids. They're very football savvy. The cool thing about Luke is he's just he has to play at a high level because he's not blessed with all that speed that they have. But he's a smart kid, intelligent. Mendez is a very savvy kid. Of course, he's still not as fast as Dudley and Moore, but he adds a lot of other things and dimensions that they might not, and they lack a little bit.
Some first-year or freshman players in the mix there, but you look throughout your practices, there are a lot of other first-year guys who are showing flashes. Those people as a group, how can they push a veteran and talented core?
That's a tough question. The only reason is because I am so talented on the outside right now with the older guys. But I keep telling them, I mean, you never know. We're going to play the best. Mm-hmm. And if that best is a freshman, then they're going to get their chance. I tell them every day, keep competing. You never know with this COVID stuff what could happen. So you have to be ready. Next man up, always. So that's kind of the biggest thing I hit on, compete and be ready to go because you never know when your name's called.
All right, Bret Story, thanks for the time. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
It's Carson-Newman wide receivers coach Bret Story. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, and this is the Eagle Sports Network.